Thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week we talk about the election, the royals, and what a sucky baby loser Trump is. Our user feedback is from a longtime reader, and we end with our weekly feature, the comments of the week. The stories, photos, and tweets we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 73. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra. I'm the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
So this week was a lot, like every week, but we know that Biden won, so that's a huge relief, and we didn't know that for sure last week.
Well, I knew it for sure last week.
You are good. I'm glad that I know you and Zakia and everybody who's been reassuring me, because it's been hard to take.
Yeah, when we recorded last week, I knew that Biden was going to win. It still felt amazing when they called it for him on Saturday. That was awesome.
It really was. So we recorded on Thursday. We released on Sunday. We didn't get to talk about the victory party. We might as well talk about it now.
Okay.
The victory party was awesome, and it just kind of gave me hope again that was lacking for a long time.
I mean, I've never believed that Joe Biden is going to be this enormously transformational candidate who's going to operate as the total liberal and created a liberal paradise in America. Like, he's not that guy. But It's not fucking fascism. We all went to the polls and we voted out this fucking Nazi. And that's amazing. And everyone was just so happy. It's worth celebrating that simple fact that we voted him out.
Yeah. Let's talk about the politics first and then talk about the royals. Do you want to do it like that?
Yeah, sure. I also just want to shoot the shit about one little thing. I know you wanted to talk about your hula classes though.
I did, but I feel dumb compared to talking about politics, Let's shoot the shit.
So you're taking a hula class?
Yeah. So some people think it's hula hoop. It's not. It's legitimate Hawaiian dance, and it's taught by a Hawaiian woman, and she's amazing. She sings to us in Hawaiian. She tells us stories of Hawaiian history, and the moves are kind of like Tai Chi. They're very precise and slow, and you have to have your arms held the right way, and you move your hips a certain way, and you keep your upper body still except for your arms, and it just feels really relaxing. I love it.
Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
I don't take those kind of Zoom classes and all that. I just like to do my own thing and just walk and lift weights.
Yeah.
I keep it pretty simple, but I do feel like I need to change things up every now and then. But I have been taking hikes, which is really nice.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound like something I would enjoy, but it sounds nice for you.
Yeah, it's like a moving meditation kind of thing. It's not very athletic, but it is harder than I expected in some ways. It's fun. I'm glad I had the opportunity to take it, and I'll keep taking it.
Yeah, I feel like this is also just kind of a period of adjustment where we don't have to be absolutely terrified constantly of what Trump is going to say or do.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still president. He's still an asshole.
Yeah.
He's still doing dickish things, but it's just not that sheer exhaustion of dealing with the Trump presidency.
And terror. I mean, we still have the very real pandemic to deal with, and that's serious, and we have to keep taking it serious and social distancing and not partying.
Right.
But it feels so much better. It's like a huge relief now.
Yeah, a huge weight has been lifted. Literally, because he was obese.
He is obese. He's morbidly obese. And to the people who say that's mean, it is a legit medical diagnosis that he resembles.
And, I always feel like he's the one exception to that rule, because he always talks about how certain women are attractive enough to be raped, sexually assaulted. I'm like, you know what? We can say whatever the fuck we want about his appearance.
Oh, yeah. I think he more than warrants that. I wanted to play this section from Zoom where we just talked about the victory party, and we thank Zakia for making us all feel better. And we basically said the same thing. Spoiler, we said the same thing that you and I just said, that a weight was lifted. So here's that.
And then Joe stressed me out by running up on stage. I was like, do not fall. Oh no, I love the run. The run was a flex.
It was a total flex.
We were afraid that please don't trip. Just make it up there without tripping.
I was surprised he wasn't out of breath when he got there. I would have been out of breath.
You know he'd been practicing.
Zakia, we got your attention now. We want to congratulate and thank you.
I needed to see everybody so upset and stressed out and not sleeping and anxious. And I was going to sleep. And so I just wanted y'all to go to sleep too and not be so stressed out and upset.
You called it. You were 100% sure. Last week, Pennsylvania was behind. Mm-hmm. And you were like, oh, no doubt. We're going to win it. We're going to win it. And then when Georgia stepped up, you thought Georgia was going to take it. But no, Pennsylvania swooped in and made the call. And it was just like, Zakia, you did it.
Because I know we hate him here. Like Philly hates him. I mean, we might have a few pockets here and there that would vote, but I wanted so much for Pennsylvania to be called to give it to him, to put him over the 270. Like your home state has to come through for you.
You guys party so hard too.
It was going on all night in the morning. Like, and my daughter went down with her girlfriend and they had a big blow up Trump that you could kick and hit. And it's like all these videos of people kicking this big blow up Trump, but it was just people out in the street and it was just all over the city. I was so happy for us. It was such a relief, like a weight has been lifted off.
So yeah, I wanted to play that before we moved on to other stuff because it's like we deserve to celebrate now, you know?
Yeah, it's nice. It is just really nice. All right, now I wanted to talk about this one thing, and I added it real late to our outline.
I didn't see it.
But I'm watching The Undoing, which is Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman, and it's this HBO miniseries. And the ads made it look so good and very much my kind of thing, like suspenseful thriller mystery.
Yeah. And
it is that, but it also is just Nicole Kidman wandering around New York in boho outfits, and she's making such stupid decisions. And now I kind of think, spoiler, I think she's the murderer. And just I'm sort of obsessed with there are only a few of us watching the series. I think I've been talking about it a little bit on Twitter.
How far are you?
They've only done 3 episodes so far.
Okay.
So.
Is it worth watching?
I think you have to like that kind of show. You have to like that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's sort of like Gone Girl. There's a cottage industry of books that are being written exactly like this, a white woman dealing with the husband who might be a murderer, except she might be the murderer.
Yeah.
That's every book being written for women these days. So
okay, so it's not on my alley, but it sounds fun. I'm glad you found a new show you like. It sounds like something my mom would watch too, because you guys have that same taste.
Yeah, I bet your mom is watching it already.
She probably is. I should ask her. She watches everything. That's where I got my love of entertainment and pop culture from her. I've been watching a lot of trash shows. I'm watching that makeup competition show from England. I'm in the 2nd season called The Glow Up. I think we talked about that before. It's makeup artists compete. I'll watch any crap. I don't know. I'm just trying to forget about what's happening. But now it's not as bad. I'll turn on MSNBC too.
Yeah, this is the most I've watched the news in a really long time. The past few weeks.
Yes.
I hated watching the news during the Trump era.
They know it too, and they're joking about it. I like looking at people's houses. That's a good upside to the coverage lately, is to see where people are. Oh, that person's at a hotel, or that person wants to show off their antiques or their plant collection or whatever. Makes me want to up my Zoom background here.
Yeah, I saw some historian on MSNBC who had an Emmy in the background. I was like, what?
Ooh. That's what John Legend does at his piano. He's got all his EGOT stuff behind him.
That's cute.
All right, so do you want to talk about politics next? I'm sorry I was jumping around. I didn't follow our outline at all.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. Let's do royals now, and then we can go back to politics. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good. So one of the big stories this week was that Prince Harry's request to lay a wreath in the Cenotaph for Remembrance Day, which is the UK Memorial Day, and it was over the weekend, was denied. And that story came out in the London Times, and you wanted to talk about the sourcing for that. But what's more is that this wreath cost £1,000. It was already made and set aside for Harry. It's not like he wanted to go. He just wanted them to put the wreath there to show that he had an involvement in the ceremony and he was, thinking of them.
Right. The wreath was made by the Royal Legion, which is like the support network.
Oh, okay.
So it was at the Royal Legion in Kent, I think, and no one picked it up. They just left it at this Royal Legion in Kent. And the original Time story was that Harry called Buckingham Palace and spoke to some of the Queen's people, some of the Queen's men in grey, and asked them if they could make some sort of arrangement to have his wreath laid on his behalf. And they just turned him down flatly. And the story was that they didn't even bother going to the Queen to tell the Queen about Harry's request, which I don't believe.
Yeah, that seems really suspect, that story.
Yeah, and I can't get my hands on who went to the Times with this story, because considering that Harry, or sources close to Harry, later went on to speak to People magazine, I don't think the Times story came from Harry. The story makes Buckingham Palace look so bad, I find it hard to believe that it came from them, too.
It's weird because it's kind of similar to that story about Prince William having coronavirus.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I got that from Zoom, and I'll play a segment from that in a minute, but that's something Tanisha came up with, that it's the second story in so many weeks that makes them look bad, but they leaked it anyway, or at least we think they did. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell from the sourcing who was saying what to whom and why the story came out in the first place.
Yeah.
The other side of that is that obviously Harry did want people to know that the palace snubbed him, because that was the whole reason why he organized the photo shoot, or, the whatever it was, the photo shoot at the LA National Cemetery, where he and Meghan laid flowers on the gravestones of Commonwealth soldiers. I think that if you follow the thread of it, he arranged that photo shoot because he knew that people would know that he was snubbed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or is that too...
No, that's exactly what I was thinking too. And that's kind of the consensus we reached. Yeah.
So did Harry leak it to the Times?
I would say that one of the courtiers leaked it to the Times. First of all, the fact that they would do that is super petty, but they would also be so arrogant as to think that it makes them look like they're upholding royal values. Well, Harry left. He doesn't get this. Boom. This is Harry's punishment, and we're going to leak it to the press too. Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, that could be it. And it's just very confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is confusing. A lot of people were making me mad when that story came out on Monday. We had the photos of Harry and Meghan at the National Cemetery, and people were saying it was attention seeking. They had one photographer there. One.
Right. They didn't invite the media. They arranged a photographer to take the photos so that Harry could show the veterans community and the military community that he did something for them on that day, because the palace denied him the right to even have his wreath laid on the cenotaph.
Yeah, and that makes complete sense that he would do that. His heart is with his fallen colleagues. He saw some shit in Afghanistan. He was there for 2 tours. I think that he saw a lot more than he's ever disclosed, and that it really affects him and he cares deeply.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole idea that what he did was attention seeking, and yet what the Queen and her merry band of assholes did is not attention seeking. If you go along with the probably maybe correct theory that the courtiers leaked the information to the Times, how is that not crazily attention seeking? They're actually drawing attention away from the cause, the event, making it all about them punishing Harry.
Yeah, it definitely is. But that just goes to show the different standards they have for him and themselves. I mean, this whole organization is full of backwards thinking asshole narcissists, that's...
Yeah.
That was uncovered the past couple of years with everything Meghan's had sent to her. She's the expert at dealing with narcissists, you know. So here's the segment from Zoom where we were talking about that and how Harry was denied the wreath.
Yeah, because people were giving them crap for having a camera there. And I'm like, private citizens, aren't they? Yes. Don't they want privacy? And I'm like, but did that because if they hadn't done it, he would have gotten shit for not placing a wreath and for not participating. He basically did it as a form of proof.
I wish they would just get a new Instagram already, because then they could have just posted like a personal photo, you know, not even of them with the wreath, but like, we placed this wreath today at LA's, you know, Memorial Cemetery. Like, why are they not having a new Instagram already? Like,
I do agree they need an Instagram, but they still would have gotten knocked. And I mean, everybody keeps talking about they brought a photographer. All the royals bring a photographer with them.
It backfired on the royal family. Actually, they are being dragged for their pettiness. And it's almost like they don't get it. They just cannot read the damn room. This is the second time in a week or two that the British royal family thought if they release some information, it'll make them look good. And they have gotten dragged for it.
They're saying that the Queen had no knowledge of his requests. Do you believe that?
No.
I believe she knew.
She knew. She absolutely knew. Come on.
With her broke ass.
Yeah. I like how April was like saying the Queen with her broke ass at the end.
Like, the other side of that is that what does it say about the Queen and her organizational skills if her men don't come to her with that information? Oh, your grandson called, you know, the one who served 2 tours in Afghanistan. You know, we shut him down. We punished him for you on your behalf. Like, that makes her look like shit, too.
It does make her look like crap if her people are going over her head like that.
Which is why I think that it came from her.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's why I think it came from her. I think that she was like, no, he still needs to be punished.
And it doesn't just punish Harry, it punishes the veterans and their families. Because it's a symbolic gesture to them. No, you don't get any wreath from Harry because he decided to leave the family. Like, his service doesn't count now.
And from the Zoom call, what Courtney said, that they should have done this, or they could have done this via a new Instagram, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Those photos would have landed so much differently if they had simply posted them on an Instagram, on their own Instagram.
They do need to get a new Instagram. At the same time, the logistical issues are probably pretty high. Like, they probably need to hire at least 5 people to run that.
Oh, no, I would say not. Especially not because Meghan was practically running her Instagram, or, you know, the Sussex Royal Instagram by herself. She had people, she had palace helpers or whatever, but she was doing so much of it herself. They should have launched an Instagram months ago. Honestly, I really feel strongly that they should have launched an Instagram months ago. And so what if they only posted like one thing a month? It would have been worth it just to have those photos done the right way and posted on their own Instagram.
Yeah.
Just for like this kind of thing.
It would have been good. I'm thinking about all the people they need to moderate the comments and to work on it. And just because we do it with less people, we have a much less volume than they're going to get.
Well, I was thinking also that because everyone is taking such pains to say that they're not full-time royals, blah, 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 that they could just do an Instagram and shut off the comments. Just shut off the comments completely.
Yeah, they could shut them off too. That's a good idea.
And I always felt like Meghan was very good at Instagram too. Like, she changed the way the royals did Instagram with way that she would write these longer captions or longer texts.
Well, she had that lifestyle site. You know, she understands social media and that kind of visual communication.
Right.
So speaking of that, Will and Kate did Zoom
It was a good transition. It was.
Thank you. I said that, and then I'm like, oh, that reminds me that Kate totally copied Meghan's Zoom background. So Meghan has been doing calls from her couch. Sometimes she does them from that one room that kind of has the window, but more and more she's been doing calls from her couch. From behind her, you can see different books she'll place there and flowers. It's really pretty. It's a nice setting. And it's kind of unique because I watch MSNBC, and that's different because people are speaking professional capacity. It's not like a casual chat like Meghan sometimes does, although she's also speaking blah, blah. Anyway, It's very rare to see somebody on their couch. It's very rare.
Yeah, and like Meghan has done a great job of switching it up, but she has done a lot of Zooms on the couch, and the Daily Mail has been obsessed with that. They've been obsessed with what they can see of her decor. There was like a huge story I remember about the photographs or the art pieces, whatever, of the bird's nests that behind her.
Okay.
Like that was a huge story that day on Daily Mail. And so I think that like Meghan has been playing with that. What's going to be in the background of this Zoom call or whatever. So, okay, Kate and William did their Zoom calls for Remembrance Week or Remembrance Day. They spoke to military families. I didn't even watch William's because I don't give a shit.
You could see like up his nose and his angle was so bad. Sorry, go ahead.
But Kate's was definitely different. So Will and Kate, this entire time, they've been Zooming their fingers to the bone. Every time they Zoom, they're in Ameerah Hall before this. And they always use the same, like, sort of stupidly boring background. And it's just like this blank white wall, and maybe there's like one little vague piece of art on, you know, one corner of the wall. That's about it. And it's just the same thing over and over again. And now all of a sudden Kate is sitting on a couch and she's got photos and artwork and flowers behind her and that stupid blouse.
Yeah, so we can talk about her blouse in a second. But like I said, I watch a lot of MSNBC. People have bookcases behind them. Sometimes they angle so you can see how cute their living room is. Sometimes they're at a hotel and they'll put flowers behind them. But you never see anybody sitting on the couch. That is a very Meghan thing. They're sitting in a chair.
Yeah, it is.
So, let's talk about her blouse.
It was just so ugly. That's all I have to say. Peter Pan collars, I actually think that you have to have a certain kind of body type, a certain kind of look to pull off a Peter Pan collar.
What's her name? Zooey
Deschanel?
Zooey Deschanel. It's a very Zooey Deschanel look.
Yeah, you have to have a certain kind of look and body for it. And like Mia Farrow obviously like popularized that look in Rosemary's Baby. It was a legit look in the 60s, like the baby doll dress with the big Peter Pan collar. But Kate just like, she takes these old ancient ass dated trends and like she makes them absolutely horrible.
She doesn't update it. It's very... Like when she does cosplay, it's so literal that it's not fun. Like it would be fun if she put a twist on it and a wink, but she doesn't.
It was just the ugliest fucking like satin blouse with this absolutely giant black Peter Pan collar.
It was like scalloped around the edges. Ooh.
Yeah, the collar looked like a dickie.
It did look like a dickie. And then she wore her big old felt poppy, which would be nice on a normal modern blouse. And it had little buttons down the front of it, because of course it did. So you covered a story from a celebrity stylist named Rochelle White. And you thought that the quotes she gave were kind of backhanded compliments? She said, "The statement collar is the new look at me neckline. Instead of rocking necklaces and simple jewelry, the statement collar can be eye-catching, bold, and impactful with little effort. If you wanted to add an accessory like the Duchess of Cambridge has, it can be sleek, stylish, and simple." Which the poppy was not. I mean, it was meaningful. It means something.
Yeah, she's not saying like Kate is sleek, stylish, and simple. She's just saying it could be. It can be.
Yeah. So I think you're right. She was struggling to say something nice, and she kind of phrased it very carefully.
Oh, the Peter Pan collar can be quite fashionable. Not here, but
not
it can
on that
be.
blouse. All right, let's move on to politics, and we'll get to the negative stories. Well, they're kind of funny now. They just...
Yeah, so like we talked about how happy we are that Biden won, but like we also knew that it was going to be a total shit show in the transition.
Oh my God.
Biden isn't going to be taking the oath of office until January 20th, but they're like 69 days until then, as we're recording this. 69
nice. I know, we had to say that.
And like, obviously Trump is going fucking bonkers. He stayed in his like baby bunker for 5 fucking days and refused to do any sort of events, and he was just pouting and seething and refusing to concede. He still hasn't conceded as of this recording, and I'm not expecting him to when this podcast comes out. Not only is he refusing to concede, he's actually thwarting and shutting down any administration official who would even dream of like offering transition resources to the Biden campaign, or the Biden transition team,
which is necessary and done in every presidential transition. This is unprecedented.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're refusing to release $9.9 million in transition funding that's rightfully Biden's. The Trump appointee who is in charge of that won't sign off on that. They're refusing to pass along messages heads of state are giving to Biden, although he has talked to many heads of state already. They're refusing to authorize that he gets daily security briefings, and it's just obnoxious. It's crazy.
Yeah. The daily security briefings, that's going to change. I feel like in the next few days that probably will change, because there are already Republican senators saying, hold on, wait a minute, that's a bridge too far. We need him to get the national security briefing.
But other Republicans are backing up Trump, like McConnell.
Oh, yeah. Mitch McConnell is the key of all of this. In a lot of ways, Trump was just Mitch McConnell's puppet. Mitch McConnell got everything he wanted out of Trump and then some. And now McConnell is just backing up Trump just to fuck with everybody else. Like, he's just doing it to fuck with Democrats. He's like, what harm could it do? Meanwhile, thousands of people are dying of coronavirus and all, et cetera, et cetera.
And Biden was asked about that, and he said, they'll work with me. He's like, they will acknowledge me, basically.
Yeah, he said that he took questions at his coronavirus briefing.
Okay.
And he said, they'll work with me. And that was the same Q&A session where he said that Trump was embarrassing.
Ooh. So I'll play a segment from that. I'm going to play that segment where he calls Trump embarrassing. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Here's that.
Sir, what do you say to the Americans that are anxious over the fact that President Trump has yet to concede and what that might mean for the country?
Well, I just think it's an embarrassment, quite frankly. How can I say this tactfully? I think it will not help the president's legacy. I know from my discussions with foreign leaders thus far that they are hopeful that the United States democratic institutions are viewed once again as being strong and enduring. But I think at the end of the day, it's all going to come to fruition on January 20th.
And, yeah. A lot of the commenters, they brought up an interesting point. They said that Biden must have been getting some advice from like psychologists dealing with pathological liars or narcissists or something like that, because he's playing it so well. Like, don't give the toddler tantrum any air. Like, just shrug it off, say he's an embarrassment, and move on.
He's so amazing. I'm so impressed with him. Whenever I watch him, I'm like, wow, he's way better than I expected. Not that I didn't expect a lot from him, but I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, he's very good. And I mean, we talked about that last week when we didn't know 100% for sure that he was going to be president. He was acting presidential from the word go. I was so impressed with him during those days when they were still counting votes, and he was coming out and just being calm and measured, but also confident. He and his team, they were saying, we're going to win this. It's fine. That's his same sort of vibe with the transition. It's like, well, we can't deal with this fucking fascist toddler. Everything's in motion. Everyone just calm down. It's nice. It's an adult in the room.
Yeah. And it's the perfect way to handle this. A lot of people are saying, we were talking in Zoom about this, that the Democrats are being too nice. Well, this is how Biden needs to be. Like, other Democrats can be rude for him.
Yeah,
not rude, absolutely. But meet the Republicans more on their very low level.
Right. And Biden doesn't have to be his own attack dog. He has people for that. And if worse comes to worse, he has Kamala. Like, think about that. Like, think about how effective she's going to be.
Oh, yes. Because she's so good at not tearing them down, but asking
ripping
questions,
them a new one. She's good at cross-examining people. That's her
she's
strength.
Excellent. Yeah. Ooh, okay. I really didn't think of that yet, but yeah. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
But, like, he's not even going to deploy Kamala yet until he has to. Right now, he's got Senate Democrats working on his behalf. Like, right before we came on to record this, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they were both ripping the Republicans new ones. Like, Chuck Schumer basically called them all hypocritical assholes. And it was beautiful. Yeah.
If we win the runoff elections in January, I don't want to jinx anything, but if that happens, it'll be amazing.
What, Senate Majority Leader Schumer? Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Do you want to talk about that Vanity Fair story about how it's like Lord of the Flies at the White House now?
All right. Vanity Fair did this story where it was immediately in the wake of Biden being declared winner. And the sources described the atmosphere inside the White House as Lord of the Flies. Which is probably true. But mostly I think everyone is just walking on eggshells around Donald Trump because he's such a dumbass and such a sore loser. Everyone's got their own, I can't think of the word I want to say.
Everyone's trying to save their ass.
Yeah.
But they told them if they look for new jobs and they're caught looking for new jobs, they're going to be fired.
Which I say big fucking deal. Like, if I was working for that fascist administration, I would already be trying to work with the Biden transition. I'd be like, fuck this. I'm going to hand over everything to Biden.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why no one in the Trump administration is doing that already. It is shocking to me.
Maybe they are.
No, we would have heard about it if they had. I don't believe it.
Okay. Well, you would know, but I'm like, maybe.
No, I think that the only people left in the Trump administrations are the diehard believers.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, those are the last assholes standing, and they're the worst.
And everybody else got fired.
Yeah.
I hate Mike Pompeo. I never really watched him speak before now. He's horrible.
Oh, yeah, he's awful. Yeah, he was asked a few days after Biden was declared the winner, like, how he was going to work with Biden transition or whatever. Pompeo said there will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. And the way everyone was like, oh, he was just joking. The motherfucker wasn't joking.
That's what he wants. And he was so arrogant and asshole-ish when he was asked, you guys are supposed to be monitoring elections in other countries. What's going on in the U.S.? And he's like, that's ridiculous. No. And that's a ridiculous question. And no, it's not.
No, but like our allies are really scared.
Yeah.
And it is so painful. Oh my God. Like, as the daughter of an immigrant, my dad always talked about how great American diplomacy was. And, that's why he wanted to move to America and become a citizen.
Yeah.
This is where we are. Like, the fucking stupid ass president of the United States is subverting democracy within our borders, and he's trying to negate the results of a fair election.
Yeah.
It's so painful.
Well, I hope they have to drag him out by his armpit.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I don't hope they have to, but
yeah, I hope they have to like sedate him and like drag him out, physically drag him out, net him.
Oh man!
Throw all of his shit onto the White House lawn, make him pick it up.
Yeah, it's gonna be something, but
and people are already talking about, oh, what is the post presidency gonna look like? It's gonna look like jail. He's gonna be sued
in New York at least,
10 million ways. And he's being investigated by the state of New York and the federal government and blah, blah, blah. Let's just let the prosecutors do their jobs.
All they have to do is come up with some of his interviews. Like, he's incriminated himself in multiple interviews, many of them on video.
And God knows what, like, the mobsters are going to do to him. You know, how much money he
Deutsche
owes.
Deutsche Bank is going to call in their loans, but somebody else fronted that. Who fronted that money?
And, like, the hundreds of millions of dollars that went missing from Trump's campaign. Like, I think some of that probably went to Deutsche Bank and, you know, all the other people that Trump owes. Anyway.
That's good. I mean, if they can uncover that and make him face some consequences, that would be fun to see. So let's move on to the user feedback. Stuff was getting to me earlier this week. And I've been bitching on Twitter about some of the hate mail that people are sending me, but mostly I think that MAGAs are freaking out. So they're lashing out at people, including us. And I tweeted about that. I'll include links to a couple of those tweets in the post for this. Is number 73. But we got a nice email from Deirdre who saw me complaining. So she wanted to send a nice message and encouraging us. So Deirdre wrote, I've been a celebrity reader since about 2006, 2007. As the years went on and we all got older, I've been so impressed by how your site and Lainey's have matured in content and how you report in celebrities. The political posts are probably the most welcome. It can be both a relief and a stressor to read Kaiser's posts because they are so thoughtful, but at the same time, drive home how much trouble we are in. And she also said that she liked our comments and that we do a good job moderating them. And she said, thanks for being a constant in my life these past 15 years. Yes, it's been a long time. So
thanks, Deirdre.
Yeah, thank you, Deirdre. That was really nice of you to send us messages. And we got a couple other messages. I'm saving some in case we run out for future podcasts. So believe me, I read them. I did.
People think we suck and we need to vamp a little bit.
Yeah. So I saved a couple more. I'll read them next week and the week after. I emailed them back too, so. I want to tell you about the comment of the week. I picked mine and like hid it so that I could tell you later, but we picked 2 comments of the week that are kind of similar. But I swear I picked mine before yours.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I swear
so both of our comments are apparently related to the story that also happened on the day that we found out that Joe Biden was officially president-elect. So on Saturday, the Trump people were still like complaining about voter fraud and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And so they sent Rudy Giuliani to Philadelphia, and Trump made a big announcement on his Twitter saying, you know, Rudy's doing something or other at the Four Seasons. And then that tweet was deleted and they're like, it was a mistake. He's not doing any kind of press conference at the Four Seasons. He's doing it at the Four Seasons Total Landscaping in Philadelphia, which is in between a porn shop and a crematorium. And so the campaign dutifully put up some posters behind Rudy in the parking lot and then set up a little podium. And so there was Rudy Giuliani screaming at clouds in the parking lot of the Four Seasons Total Landscaping in Philadelphia. And that's when Biden was announced. And
oh yeah, it's so awesome and poetic. And he was just caught with his hands down his pants like a week ago.
But he's still Trump's lawyer of record. All right, so Phaedra, is that how you say her name? Phaedra?
Yeah.
Phaedra wrote, I don't know why everybody's laughing. I just booked my wedding at the Ritz-Carlton Sewage Treatment Maintenance, and it was hella reasonably priced. Woohoo! More money for my Fantasy Island honeymoon.
All right, so I had picked one by Phaedra too. This was on the loser Donald Trump is hiding in the White House, still refusing to concede post. And she said, you guys, I think Rudy Giuliani is going to take this all the way to the Supreme Courtyard by Marriott.
She was doing real good with the puns. And
she was excellent. So Phaedra, you get double comments of the week, and we picked them independently. But we didn't talk about how the Trump lawyers have been getting owned in court by the judges either. Like, that is just awesome.
It's hilarious. I tweeted out this post by like one of the law blogs or, something like that. And
Yeah,
they
I
were
read that
basically like, some of Trump's lawyers are probably going to lose their licenses because they're bringing all of these frivolous lawsuits. And as soon as they get in front of the judge is like, so do you actually have any evidence? And they're like, no, we don't have anything.
No, I can't say there's fraud. There was a non-zero number of poll observers. Oh my God. Thanks for listening, bitches. Don't fuck Republicans.
Thanks, bitches. Don't fuck Republicans. Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you like us, please turn off your ad blocker when you visit our site. You can text us or leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again.